What's up guys, Vyminal back at it again with another video review. Today we're going to be reviewing the XANOVA Mensa Pro gaming mouse and the XANOVA Pulsar mechanical keyboard. Now Galax has sent me this for free, but let me tell you that all the opinions in this video are going to be my own, and I will tell you exactly what I think about these peripherals. Now, these peripherals are marketed towards the competitive gamer, the esports pro, or the hardcore gamer that is extremely demanding when it comes to mouse and keyboard. Now, I consider myself to be a hardcore gamer, a competitive gamer that has thousands of hours of FPS experience, so I know exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to a mouse and keyboard. So since this is marketed towards someone like me, I will judge it as such. Now, you might be thinking, it doesn't matter what mouse and keyboard you use. If you're a good player, you're a good player. While that may be true, if you come across someone with equal skill as you, and that person has a better mouse and keyboard, chances are that person has the upper hand. And there's no reason to settle for that disadvantage, which is why it's important to know what you're looking for when buying a mouse and keyboard. It's important to have a good mouse and keyboard. Now with that said, let's take a look at the mouse first and foremost. This mouse, the Mensa Pro gaming mouse, has 5 RGB lighting zones. This is pretty much standard. It's the year 2020. Everything has to have RGB at the very least, right? So this has 5 RGB lighting zones, a DPI on the fly switch, programmable buttons on the side, and a Pixart 3389 sensor. Now this is a top grade sensor that is extremely popular in a lot of mice today. In the competitive gaming world, not a lot of mice have a different sensor. So this is pretty much industry standard when it comes to competitive gaming, and that's very, very good. This goes up to 16,000 DPI, 1000 Hertz polling rate, extremely smooth tracking. You're not going to have any problems with lift-off distance or tracking with this sensor over here. RGB sensor, sure, that's not all that what makes a good gaming mouse. The important part of a gaming mouse in today's standards is the shape and the weight. The ergonomics of the mouse is king. Now this mouse is built for small right-handed gamers. Small hands, and of course the ergonomic shape is geared for right-hand use only. It's not an ambidextrous mouse. So left-handed gamers, sorry, but this is for right-handed gamers, and it's built for small hands like mine. Now typically even gamers with big hands prefer smaller mice, because to majority of gamers, the smaller the mice, the easier for it to be controlled. So you'll be able to aim better generally with smaller mice. Gripping the mouse, this is sort of like necessitating a claw grip for me because of the hunchback design over here. So instinctively, when I hold the mouse, it's sort of like a claw grip, or a hybrid claw grip, which I have no problem at all. The mouse feels very, very comfortable. I like the shape. The scroll wheel feels very smooth. Although it is a bit hard to press, the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel takes a little bit of force in order to actuate. Mechanical side buttons. Very easy to press, very easy to reach with your thumb. No problem with that. However, I do have an issue with the scroll wheel. It is a bit hard to actuate. And there are some games that you need to press on the scroll wheel to do certain commands. So that could be an area of conflict for you. But generally, it's not going to be a problem, and scrolling the mouse wheel feels fine. My main issue with this mouse is that it weighs 123 grams. The consumer trend is the lighter the mouse is, the better it is. Now this goes completely opposite of that trend. It's extremely small, but it's incredibly heavy. Like, it's 123 grams, one of the heaviest mice in my collection right now. While it's not unusable, I don't believe it's ideal for low DPI players. If you're like me and you play a lot of FPS, chances are you play between 400 to 800 DPI on a very low sensitivity. If you're a high DPI player, you might actually prefer a heavier mouse like this. Typically, heavy mice are larger in size, so it's kind of interesting to see a heavy mouse that's very, very small. So this can actually be good for the high DPI competitive player. The bottom line is, I believe that Galax should be listening to consumer trends and should be looking into lightweight mouse. Because I love the shape, the sensor's really good, the Omron switches feel very good to click. It's pretty heavy. One good feature that I noticed, and we've seen from other mice companies like Zowie for example, the mouse cable is angled at a 45-degree angle. Over here, you can see that. You can see that the mouse cable, the braided mouse cable, is angled up a bit. Now this reduces cable drag on the mouse pad, even without a mouse bungee. Now this is even better if you use a mouse bungee. If you're using a wired mouse, there's no reason not to use a mouse bungee anyway. But yeah, it's a good feature that the mouse cable is angled up, so that reduces cable drag, although the cable is very, very heavy and very, very hard to flex. So this can be an issue with cable drag if you're not using a mouse bungee. So all in all, for this mouse, it has a great sensor, great clickers, very nice ergonomic shape for the right-handed gamer, and I love the small size, and I think there should be more mice that are of this size, since typically mice are a lot bigger. However, I would love to see this in a lighter weight. Now, on to the keyboard. This is the XANOVA Pulsar mechanical keyboard. What I mentioned earlier, in 2020, the bare minimum should probably have RGB lighting. Now this keyboard is priced at just under 5,000 pesos depending on where you buy it. It doesn't have RGB, it has white illumination, driverless illumination. However, it does have a scroll wheel over here that controls audio and lighting, which is a very good feature. However, I would have loved to see RGB lighting on this thing, and it features Cherry MX blue switches, which is fine. It also comes with the Cherry MX red variant if you prefer linear switches, which I do. And most competitive gamers prefer linear switches because they're easier to press and requires less force to actuate the keys. But that's all preference really. Now this one comes with the Cherry MX blue, aluminum body, weighs 938 grams, very, very hefty keyboard that doesn't flex at all, very weighty. Now, I have absolutely no problems with this keyboard except for the fact that it doesn't have RGB lighting. But other than that, I haven't used a full-size keyboard in so long. The reason for that is that if you're a competitive gamer, mousepad real estate is very, very important, especially if you're bringing a mouse and keyboard to a LAN tournament, for example, where you're in a very cramped cubicle or space in an internet cafe. The smaller the keyboard, the better. So I would suggest for Galax to come up with a TKL version of this keyboard because it's a very good board. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Cherry MX switches, very good build quality, and packed with, you know, all the features you need except RGB lighting. I just cannot see myself using a full-size keyboard because it takes too much space on my desk. Now, if you have a very large desk or if you're a high sensitivity player, then this is not going to be a problem for you. So if you have like a very large desk, then that's going to be fine. But again, in the realm of competitive gaming, you're not really going to use the numpad for anything. So having a smaller size keyboard never hurt anybody. Bottom line is, you have two peripherals with very good build quality, top-notch sensor, top-notch mechanical switches. Design-wise, I think these two peripherals are lacking in terms of what the competitive gamer desires. I can't speak for every competitive gamer out there, but it's nice to have the option, and again, this is my personal opinion. I think that companies like XANOVA need to listen to consumer trends. They need lighter weight mice. They need smaller keyboards. And again, these peripherals are not cheap. They're quite expensive. The mouse is priced at just under 3,000 pesos, depending on where you buy it, and the keyboard is priced at 5,000 pesos. So, yeah, at the very least, the keyboard should have RGB. And it's great to have that option of having lighter mice and smaller keyboard. So the bottom line is that there's nothing really wrong about these peripherals, and the small attention to detail about, you know, the cable being angled up right there. You know, there's nothing wrong with these peripherals. It's just that there are better options in the same price range out on the market today for the competitive gamer. That's it for this quick video review. Thank you for watching. This has been Vyminal, and I'll catch you in the next one.